So hello there, my name's Damien Lemaitre and welcome to the video, and this is a review on a very special locomotive, the City of Truro. And the City of Truro was the first engine to go 100 miles per hour, well just over 100 miles per hour. However, there's been debate as to whether it was that realistic, and the first engine that was actually recorded was the Flying Scotsman. But anyway, I think this is a fantastic model overall, and I'm really impressed with it. It's quite rare. And this is exclusive to the National Rail Museum in York and also the Locomotion Centre. And it comes in a different type of packaging as well, as you can see here. And I recently watched a review on Sam's Trains. Sam's Trains, I'm sure if you're a model rail enthusiast, are very popular, goes into a lot of details. And I actually had to ask him a few questions about this loco because I wasn't too sure myself. So I have a little bit of a confession to make. I've never actually seen the City of Truro in real life. So I've seen photos of it, and I've actually got a photo here on my wall. And this photo I actually got from a model railway show that was literally around the back from my house. Unfortunately, the model show has not been going for at least 12 years now, and the venue where it used to be got demolished and turned into flats, unfortunately, so that model show doesn't happen anymore. But I really like the City of Truro, and the first time I actually got to see City of Truro was when I was younger, in the TV series Thomas the Tank Engine. And I was amazed at how detailed it was then, to be honest with you. And it was only a dummy model, it never actually ran. But the City of Truro was actually first in the Thomas the Tank Engine Railway Series books. Duck and Diesel engine. It only appeared in one illustration, but made its presence. However, City of Truro did also appear in the annuals as well. And in the annuals it had a face. And I was always quite surprised of how it never had a face in the TV series or anything. But like I said, also in another one of the magazine stories it had a face as well. So it was nice City of Truro made another appearance, I think. And City of Truro went on to appear in other Thomas Tank Engine episodes in the background, either on photos or in books. And there was also a scrap model of it as well that can be seen in the background of some episodes. Like I said, I absolutely love this model. I think the detail is absolutely superb. You can see a better look at the tender here, and there's absolutely fantastic detail inside the cab. And I had a run of this loco. Runs really nicely, and is a bit strange actually. I'm supposed I'm quite terrible for it really, but I looked at the instructions actually after I started to run the locomotive. And it says that, which obviously I've said before in other videos, is that you're supposed to run the locomotive one direction for an hour and then the other direction for an hour to help wear it in. Now I got this second hand on eBay, so I'm not sure how much this ran, but according to the description it was barely run. And it was a little bit juddery when I first started running it, but after a while it soon ran really nicely. It's also got this glass sort of plaque thing. I don't really know what to call it, the sort of stand. It's got railway grooves in it that you can put the train on as well. So that's really nice. This wasn't my most expensive model I've ever brought, but it was still quite expensive. Another thing that I noticed on the instructions as well is that it tells you obviously the do's and don'ts, and it says not to run it on a track that's laid on the carpet because obviously bits of fluff and things like that can get into the motoring and clog the works up. Something which I did, running it on the floor. Don't have a proper actual layout to run it on yet. However, when I move house in a few years' time, hopefully, that is my aim, to actually build a proper layout for it anyway. But before I ran my train anyway, I had a hoover on the floor and that anyway. Vacuumed and cleaned the floor anyway, and obviously after when I put the track away as well, so I'm sure no dust got into the works of the engine. I've also got a photo of a hot air balloon of Thomas at Northampton Balloon Festival on my wall as well, as you can see here. And when I first got this model and that, I was really excited. I actually saw this model last year. Last year I went on a trip up to York for the day. I went behind the Duchess of Sutherland and it was hauled by a diesel back. Got that back to Kettering, Northamptonshire, which is near where I live, and then got a lift home back to Wellingborough where I live. And I actually saw this model on display This model surprised me in a lot of ways, to be honest with you, because like I said, I think the detail in it all round is absolutely superb. It's actually a lot larger than I thought it was going to be, and so was the box that it came in as well, to be honest. And like I said, this is the Platinum Edition one, and the certificate here, so it's 99 of 500, so quite a special one, I think. But also, like I said, you can get this in another type of box as well, and I don't really think there's a huge amount of difference really between that one and this one really. But great detail all round. One thing that I suppose I would have liked is the buffers. They're black here, whereas some photos like this one here that I found on Google, the buffers are painted like a grey silver colour, whereas they're black here, and also they're not sprung type buffers like you get on some models, so that's a little bit disappointing. And again, going back to the Railway series, when it first appeared, Gordon became jealous of the City of Truro because of his record and tried to beat him, and he ended up losing his dome in the process after he'd sort of taken the mickey and said about the fact that domeless engines are not respectable. And unless you're not sure, this isn't a dome here, this is a safety valve. And it's funny actually, when Emily first appeared in the show, the narrator said that she had a gleaming brass dome. However, that isn't a dome, that's a safety valve. So Emily's a domeless engine as well. And again, something that Sam Train said, what I agree with as well, is that all the running plate and that is made of metal, so quite a lot of weight, quite heavy. But I think that's a good thing, because sometimes the more weight, I think the better it runs, and also it doesn't bounce around as much. So it's quite heavy, which is good. So yeah, really, really nice. You probably saw as well recently that I brought the model of BT, the new tank engine, and that was made of plastic, and considering how sort of expensive it was, a bit disappointing, so not as heavy as this. So this model, in my opinion, is a lot better for that reason, really. Another thing as well is when buying this model, you have to be careful, because I got this one, and it's got the original number on it, 3440, whereas there is another edition that you can buy. However, not all the colours is that the same, and it's 3717. And I much prefer this one with the red running board and that, and the colours, because it's a lot brighter, looks a lot more sort of appealing. So I think this one's a lot better, and I'd happily give it a 10 out of 10 personally, mainly because of the way it looks really and how it runs and all the detail and that. So yeah, an absolutely fantastic model. I definitely recommend that you get it if you can, mainly because of the detail. But like I said, it runs really, really nicely indeed. So yeah, another one of my favourite locomotives that I've seen and been on a few times would be the Flying Scotsman. And the Flying Scotsman was originally in the books as well, and in the TV series, and is actually making more appearances now and has a face, whereas this one doesn't. And the fact that obviously this has been in Thomas, you could actually quite easily, I think, run it alongside your Thomas engines and no one would be any the wiser, because I think, again, the detail is absolutely superb. Obviously, as you probably remember me saying in other reviews, I preferred the old style of packaging in maybe like Hornby and Bachmann when they had polystyrene in them to protect the engines, because I felt they were a bit more protected. However, I'm actually starting to get to like this new sort of plastic now, and it's nice because the way you open it, you've got a lot more chance of getting the engine, particularly when it's got this amount of detail, in and out of the box safely. Another thing as well is, it does say on the top of the box that the engine is coupled to the tender. Some of the tender engines I find are coupled to the tenders, whereas some are not attached. So there's actually a screw underneath which attaches this model to its tender. It's quite nice that it actually says it on the box to warn you, so you don't just get out and hurry and break anything or damage anything. Not that I'd rush anyway, but it's just nice to have a bit of a warning, I think. And thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.